And now it's good? Okay. All right. So we are going to get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for participating in today's webinar. My name is Gali Eisman, and I'm the Program Officer at the Avichai Foundation. This webinar is titled Inspiring Students in Judaic Studies Online. Today, you will hear directly from one of Avichai's grantees in the area of online Jewish studies. They are the Online Judaic Studies Consortium at VHS. The goal for today is for you to hear about student experiences in taking online courses and how an online course can inspire students to think about their Jewish practice. Can I just ask to make sure that everyone is on mute? Because we hear a little bit of background noise. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'd like to start off by introducing Lisa Mickley and John Englander from the Online Judaic Studies Consortium and VHS. Lisa is the program director of the Online Judaic Studies Consortium at VHS, which is a national leader in online education. She is responsible for recruiting schools for membership in the Online Judaic Studies Consortium and is involved in design, development, and delivery of courses within the consortium. She served as school liaison for Tal Am, director of education for Baba Ganuz, and taught in a Jewish day school for almost 3 decades. John Englander is Associate Dean of Humanities for the Virtual High School. He is involved in all educational aspects of the Online Judaic Studies Consortium. He is responsible for curriculum and instructional initiatives in the Humanities Department and for ensuring teachers entering the Online Judaic Studies Consortium program are prepared for the experience of teaching in a collaborative online classroom. Before coming to VHS, John was the Associate Director of Online Learning at Facing History and Ourselves. Okay, so with those introductions, I'd like to turn it over to Lisa, who's going to go through a presentation in our topic for today. So Lisa.
Hello there, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. And we look at this webinar as the beginning of a conversation, which we hope we will continue with you and you will continue with us. And we encourage you to be in touch with any follow-up questions that you have, with requests for us to send you more material than what we're offering today for you to look at and think about, and any other requests for conversations, meetings, or visits with your school. Once again, thank you for joining us. You're looking at a picture of a school, the Charles E. Smith School in Maryland, in the DC area. And you'll see the beautiful entry to the school, which they call the Cardo, and many samples of student work in the halls. What I would love to see added to this picture, which we took on a day when the halls were empty, which is very rare there, are students on computers thinking about their online courses. And that school has taken a step to make online learning a part of the culture of the school. We're very excited about that, and hope we can somehow add that to this picture. The next picture is a picture of OJSC students, and these students are in 2 different schools, and in my mind they look very happy, and that was the reason I wanted to share that picture with you. We have the feedback and the feeling that students who work with us are very happy. They like the change from their regular classes, and maybe it helps them to enjoy their regular classes more because of the change. They like the interaction with students from different schools. They like some of the independence that this offers them, and I think they enjoy the content. Today's class is going to focus on content on 2 very specific courses, but I'm going to spend the first 5 minutes telling you a little bit about our model so that you can understand those specific courses and the specific topic we chose for today in the context of our model. The Online Judaic Studies Consortium, OJSC, is how we lovingly refer to it, and I hope you will too, really is made up of a number of different components. So I'm going to just say a few seconds about each one of those components. Schools generally start with us by offering a teacher to have our training, offering a teacher in the school the opportunity to have our training in online teaching methodologies. That is a 4-week course developed by the virtual high school, which we've modified for Jewish educators. It's a 6-week course at the virtual high school, and you are welcome to take that one as well if it fits your schedule better. But our 4-week course in online teaching methodologies helps teachers to learn about our learning management system, as well as to learn about what it means to teach online, what are the things that you need to consider, what's a discussion like in an online classroom, how is assessment in an online classroom, and addresses many of the things which are significant and important and sometimes different in the online classroom. Of course, students are a component of our program, and once a teacher comes into the program, we hope and we find that the school enrolls students in our courses. The students have an opportunity to choose from any course in our catalog. Right now, our Judaic Studies catalog includes 13 courses, and it is growing. There are 4 courses in development in addition to the 13 that will be offered or are currently offered to students who are interested in taking them in September. I'd be happy to review any course with you or the syllabus of the course at any time. Part of the secret sauce to success in your school would be to appoint someone, a site coordinator. The site coordinator is a person that is our first contact at the school for all things OJSC. That person would enroll students in your school in our courses. That person would advocate for students in your school to take specific courses. That person would contact us if a student has a particular personal challenge. They're not going to be in school for a week, or if the student's family has something that we should know about, or if there's an IEP that we should be taking into consideration when working with that student. And that is the person that we would contact if we haven't seen or if we haven't heard from a student in a few days, or if a student is falling behind in their work, or perhaps if a student is doing incredible work and we want to make sure that they contact the parent and tell them that, or they share that with appropriate people in the school. And there's the OJSC support staff, anyone here at VHS who can help you in a technical way, in a curricular way, in some way of thinking about how you might use our program in your school. For those of you who are not viewing this, we'll be happy to send you the slides later if that would be helpful. This next slide, last year when we put it together, there were 4 things that were our favorite reasons for the OJSC to be in your school. I think there are 8 now, but there could be 12. In other words, it was hard to limit it to what the value is, but you can look at this list and you can think about which one of those works for your school. Are you looking to enhance your curriculum, or are you looking to offer your students a scheduling flexibility? Do you have a range of learning styles that you would like to address, and perhaps some of those students are not, their needs are not being met, and a course that we have in advanced Talmud, for example, might help you to meet a student's need, or a course that we have in an area of Tanakh that you don't cover might help you to meet a student's need. Or are you looking to make sure that every student in your school takes a course online before they graduate, since they probably will have to take a course online in some area of higher learning, whether they're moving on to high school or college from your school? Or are you looking for a larger community of learners for your students? And the OJSC certainly could offer that. So these are my 8 top possibilities, and I urge you to be in touch with me and tell me if there are others that you'd like. This slide shows you the different models of online course delivery. Before we jump into our courses, which is going to be the main focus of this session, just wanted you to see these different models, and I want to spend a few minutes telling you where we fall in those models. Our courses are all asynchronous. I'm starting at the bottom in the pink circle. The students do not have to log on at a particular time, and they do not see students from other schools, but they interact with them on a regular, and I mean regular, daily basis. In that asynchronous interaction, our students are cohort-based. If 100 students sign up for a course, the students will not feel that they're in a course with 100 students. They will be in a section of no more than 20 students. And that section will be led by a teacher. There will be 5 different teachers teaching those 5 different sections. So they will, just like in your school, if you have a number of sections, they will be with a particular cohort, and that's very important because that cohort will become their online classroom. They will get to know the students in their classroom. They will be responding to those students' posts, and you'll see that a little bit when we look at a class, and they will be viewing those students' work and commenting on it, and doing some group work with the students in their course. And I think an incredibly important aspect of our model is that the courses are paced. Many students, when they get to higher learning and take an online course, they take a self-paced course. And a self-paced course would allow them to do the work whenever they please, just so they finish it within the time allotted, which is 15 weeks. We don't work that way. We pace the students. We offer a 15-week course, and students have to do the work of week 1, which begins at 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday morning. They have to finish it by midnight the following Tuesday night. If they don't finish it, they may be able to finish week 1 when the class is on week 2 with a little bit of a late penalty. They may even be able to do some of the assignments for week 1 when they're in week 3 with a little harsher late penalty, or maybe with a special permission from the teacher. But by the time they get to week 4, week 1 is truly closed. They can go back there and read the discussions, but they can't post a discussion where other students are not involved because they won't have that online classroom, and we encourage them to stay in the week that we are working on. And students really follow that and work with us in a paced way, and we hope they learn the value of pacing themselves through doing that. Okay, I want to get to the meat of this course. We're now at the tachlis. We are of meat of this webinar. We are talking about OJSC courses which inspire personal practice. And we chose 2 of our current courses that we have found have had a big impact on students in a personal way, relating in some way to their Yiddishkeit, to their approach to Yiddishkeit, to their approach to Jewish observance or Jewish practice, or thinking about Jewish practice. And those 2 courses are Making Prayer My Own, Finding Meaning in the Siddur, which is a tefillah course which is about tefillah. It is not a Be'or HaTefillah course. It does not explain specific tefillot, but it is about a relationship to the topic of tefillah. We have a few weeks of the course that go a little bit into one specific tefillah, the Amidah, but we do not, for the most part, go beyond that, which you might in a different course. But it really is about finding meaning in the Siddur, and it has a lot of affective aspects to it. And the other course is called Musar, Practical Ethics for Living a Meaningful Life. We're going to divide the session that I'm going to talk about the Making Prayer My Own, and John is going to talk about the Musar course. And so I'm going to just jump right into Making Prayer My Own. But I just want to say in general, and I've had experience with both of these courses. I just finished teaching the Musar course, and I have been following the work of a wonderful educator that taught Making Prayer My Own this year. In both of these courses, the students truly contributed of themselves, and I was very delighted to see that, and I really wanted to call that to your attention. In the Musar course, I felt that the students were extremely open, interested in sharing, and personal. And in the Tefillah course, I saw the same thing, quite personal about a topic which is not always the easiest topic to talk about face-to-face with your students. It's not hard for the teacher to talk about it face-to-face, but sometimes students are not open in that as open as we want them to be in that face-to-face classroom about something like tefillah. I don't know if it's because they don't want to admit to loving tefillah, or they don't want to admit to having a challenge with tefillah in front of their peers or directly to their teacher, but somehow the space that the online platform gives them, I think allowed them in this particular course to be very open, and I'm going to try to share with you some examples of that as I tell you a little bit about that course. I'm going to take the next few minutes to tell you about Making Prayer My Own, Finding Meaning in the Siddur. This course was developed by Rabbi Chaim Reifman. We work collaboratively with schools. Once a teacher comes to our program and takes online teaching methodologies, that teacher is eligible to be a candidate for course development and to go through an incredible process, an incredible professional development experience to develop a course with us. It's a big commitment, and we offer a very nice stipend to the teachers who make that commitment, but much more importantly, we offer them a professional development experience, which is incredibly valuable. So Rabbi Reitman wanted to do a course specifically that would have that personal connection with students, and he chose this topic of tefillah. And these are the 3 essential questions that his course grapples with. You'll see in the essential questions, oh, Ilana, you can't see them, so I will read them. In what ways might an exploration of specific prayers in the Orthodox Siddur help us to form deep personal connections to those prayers? How would such exploration help us to make prayer our own? What is the meaning of some of the prayers in the Orthodox Siddur? How might I apply this process of exploration and understanding to other prayers and Jewish teachings so that I might develop a deeper connection to my Jewish practice? The reason that the essential questions say Orthodox is we wanted everyone to know the point of view from which this course was developed. It has and can be taught by community schools and other liberal schools. The Siddur that is referenced in the course is the Orthodox Siddur, but it could be substituted in any way you choose as you're doing the course, and you'll see how that's possible as I share with you some examples of student work from the course. So I'm going to go into our learning management system now, I hope, and show you a couple of assignments. The first, a couple of lessons from this course. And that way I think you'll get to see kind of our approach and what it looks like. And the first lesson is a lesson that was called What About Prayer? And it was a Dropbox assignment. A Dropbox is a way for the student to do a Word document or a PDF and upload it so that we can look at it. But when they're given an assignment, in any case, we always offer the student framing text, some text which kind of explains what we're looking for, and we offer them some instructions and some expectations for this particular course. So I'm going to hop onto my, I hope you'll be able to see this.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we see it.
You can see it. Okay. So here is the, I'm in the wrong one though. Just a second. Here is the framing text. It's not opening. It's not as simple as I thought. One second. You can see where it says what about prayer, but I wanted to show you the, for some reason it's not letting me. Okay. I'm not sure why it's not moving around, but I'm going to move it like this. And this is our learning management system. I'm going to week 2, which is where this lesson is. I'm going to what about prayer? So this is what the students were given. This is the framing text for this lesson. So you can see they were asked, Ilana, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically it's asking students to think about whether you like to admit it or not. Chances are there are certain things you like about tefillah and certain things you don't. It's asking students to think about that. And for those of you who can see the screen, we give the students instructions, review the information above, write an essay of at least 250 words summarizing your reflection on your prayer experience. Be sure to include both sides, what you liked and what you didn't like, and submit your work as an attached file to the Dropbox Week 2 prayer. So here they're submitting their essay. So I had that open. I'm just going to show you what I did is I went to our Dropbox folders. You can see that now. And I'm going to just open What About Prayer? And this student's assignment is right here. This is an anonymous student. You won't see that student's name. It's a sample that we, and you can see there's a substantial essay on this topic. I thought you would be interested in at least seeing one paragraph of the essay. I'll start at the top. Throughout all my experiences of praying at different places, at different times, and with different people, there have been things I liked and things I don't like. So the student was very quick to say he had a positive and a negative to contribute to the conversation. I have davened with Orthodox minions, conservative minions, and Reform minions. Have davened at shuls all over Westchester, New York City, Canada, and many places in Israel, from Mitzvah to mystical Tzfat to the Great Synagogue of Jerusalem. And the student continued and talked about davening at different times, that Shabbat morning was his favorite because of his enjoyment of community and the Torah reading, the Haftorah. And then at the end, he says, some things I don't like about prayer are when I'm in a service where I feel uncomfortable and judged. I sometimes experience this with more religious communities, but I try to keep in mind that if I don't want them to judge me, I shouldn't judge them and assume they will judge me. I always try to be optimistic and give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I'm going back to my PowerPoint because here I included the teacher's feedback to this student. So Rabbi Reifman, in response to that essay, said the following. You have had so many diverse prayer experiences so far in your life, and you are only a senior in high school. I really enjoyed reading your essay. It was so full of positive feelings and emotions. It seems that you have worked hard at trying to get as much as possible out of every prayer experience, looking at the positive side of things and taking advantage of every opportunity. You might have noticed this already, but in case you haven't, it sounds like you really tend to enjoy the musical components of prayer and also praying in inspirational settings, Torah reading, Lecha Dodi, Mitzvah, grade, synagogue, etc. Finally, I love your reaction when you were feeling judged by others. I find that more often than not, our perception of being judged is simply just that, a perception. Be sure to continue not judging others, the student's name, in every situation in life, not just prayer. Continue giving everyone the benefit of the doubt, and you will go far in life. I love this response from the teacher, and it is not extraordinary. It is not unusual. Our teachers give students serious feedback to their work. They share with them openly and encourage them to do the same with their classmates when they are viewing work. So I'm just going to quickly, I want to make sure that John has, I'm going to quickly just go to another, a peek at another lesson. I'm going to show you just two other lessons in this course. The next lesson the student goes to is called Spiritual Places. And I love this lesson. I love the picture. I like a lot of the pictures in this course. But it asks students to think about it, something different from what you might ordinarily do when you're talking about tefillah. Post an image with a brief explanation of where you feel the most inspired, where prayer gets amplified for you. It may be a photo of the ocean, a shul, the kotel, a mountaintop, etc. And we got all of those. We got the kotel, we got a synagogue, we got an Aron Kodesh, but we also got a beach and a mountain and an act of chesed. And I was very excited to see that response to the question and to see the students sharing that kind of assignment in this course. I'll show you two other quick things. This is a mindfulness exercise. I just wanted to give you an example of a discussion in this course. The students did quite a bit of work on mindfulness as part of this course, and they used a program called Headspace to do that. So this is week 10 of the course. Can you believe you've been practicing these mindfulness exercises for over a month? This practice should be becoming part of your automatic routine. Are you noticing any concrete correlation between these exercises and other aspects of your life? Are you finding them easier to do as time goes on? And once again, we give the students, this is going to be a discussion exercise, so here's the prompt. In your opinion, do the practices suggested for achieving mindfulness make a person aloof and disengaged from the world, or more involved and engaged with the world? In your experience, why are breathing and focalization techniques recommended as the best means for achieving mindfulness? Do these techniques work for you? Explain. And I had the discussion open, but I'll just open it again. This is a course we used as a model, so it doesn't have any students. And I'm going to scroll for 1 second. I'm sorry that I'm doing that to you, but I'm right here in week 10, and in this discussion, these are some sample student responses. So our discussions look like this. We put in 2 students just as a sample here without their names, and you'll see that it's a threaded conversation. Students generally will respond to the assignment and then respond to each other. So this first student responded, he included the question, and said they make you more or less engaged in the world. They make you less engaged in the world because you are focusing on Hashem and working on yourself, and disconnecting from everyone and everything else to connect to yourself and God. However, you could also be reflecting on things throughout the world. You could be praying about certain things happening in the world, as you could be connecting more to the rest of the world. Breathing and focalization are important to mindfulness because it helps you get at ease with yourself and be more calm. Being calm is important to connecting to God. And we brought one example of a response. I like how you took the question and gave both the aspects to it, yes and no. You took an interesting concept about being more connected to oneself and less to everyone else. I also think that breathing helps with calmness. I'll just give you one other example. This is a longer one. So the practices suggested for achieving mindfulness don't make a person all of and disengaged from the world. Instead, they make a person more involved and engaged with the world. Mindfulness helps one become at peace with oneself. Just skipping down, in my experience, breathing and focalization techniques are recommended as the best means because they help one relax, clear the mind, and let go of all of their stress, worries, and problems. Happy to send you these if you want to read them more deeply. I want you just to see how students reacted. I agree that they make you more involved and engaged in the world rather than disengaged and aloof. It allows relaxation and collectiveness, as you say. Breathing does help clear the mind and let go of stress. I'm glad it helps you calm down. One student to another. Thanks. I think that breathing in and out during a stressful time or tough situation is a really good technique for anyone to try. In some cases, you'll see a teacher respond. These are examples from students. I am going to offer you opportunities to ask questions about this course at the end of the session. Just have one other thing to share with you, and this is what we call a news item. Each one of our weeks of the course begins with a news item, and Rabbi Reisman was incredible about sharing pictures that he had taken and using metaphors that students could relate to. This is a metaphor about the girl on a path. And the girl in the picture has a long road ahead of her, but she is preparing for her journey. She has the right gear and she is looking ahead with her binoculars in order to prepare her personal path. You too have the right tools and will be able to forge ahead, enjoying your journey while ultimately achieving your goal. And that goal is obviously related to tefillah. And we are very pleased with the response that we have with students from 4 different schools this year that used this course, and we're looking forward to working with a number of other schools that have expressed a very strong interest in this course next year. And I hope that some of you will follow up with us as well about it. I'm just going to move to the course that John's going to talk about, and he's going to introduce you to Musar, Practical Ethics for Living a Meaningful Life.
Lisa, should I make John host, or are you going, is he going to go through his slides, or are you? If he
John is going, you should make John presenter now.
Yeah,
John, do you want to look at this slide? Do you want to use this slide before you go to your...
Yeah, sure, I will, and then after I do, you'll have to stop sharing, and then Gali can pass it over to me. Thank you, Lisa. I just want to respond. I started typing in a response to Seth, who asked in the chat area whether teachers comment on threaded discussions, and I just want to, it was a great question, and I'm glad you asked it, because absolutely that is a sort of expectation and requirement of our teachers, that they are visible in class discussions. We teach them different techniques around summarizing, around pushing the conversation to the next place. You know, as you can imagine, if you haven't done it, facilitating online asynchronous discussions is in some ways very similar to what you would do in a classroom, and in other ways it's apples to oranges. It's a whole other thing. So we very much devote an entire week to that, actually. So yes, they are. And, you know, there are some discussions during a specific week where you might not want to butt in as a teacher if good conversations are happening. But then there's others where it's really important to keep the kids thinking and moving along. So thank you, Lisa, for that. I'm just going to spend a few minutes talking about this other course, which is on Musar, Practical Ethics for Living a Meaningful Life. For those of you not able to see the screen, the main sort of essential questions of this course: what does it mean from a Musar perspective to live an ethical and meaningful life? How might the study and practice of Musar lead to personal growth and behavioral change? And why do the choices we make every day matter? The the key phrase there, study and practice of Musar. And I would say it's similar in that sense to the Siddur course, in that we're both teaching students, letting them get some knowledge around how to navigate and the context and the history of Musar or Siddur, but also really practicing it. So Lisa, if you could.
Yeah. I'm going to stop sharing, and then you will be the presenter as soon as.
Hold on, I have to make.
Yes.
So John, you ready to be host now?
I think so.
So I'm going to make you host, okay?
I think so. Tell me.
Yeah, we see your screen, John. Perfect.
It says Musar Practical Ethics for.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Great. Okay, so and you can see, as Lisa said, hopefully you're seeing it, but she was the teacher teaching it. This is the homepage of the course, and this is where each week, at least once, but sometimes multiple times, teachers are going to post welcome to the week. You're seeing the final, because it just ended, you're seeing the final Yasher Koach and way to go, and we're moving into the next phase. Just very quickly, I'm walking you through the table of contents, and it's pretty straightforward course in the sense of there's a first unit on what is Musar after a sort of orientation period, where students learn about it historically, learn about the concepts, and then the Jewish science of character, and then we start on looking at specific midah, and so we start with interpersonal midot, those that relate to others. So each week is devoted to a different midah, kindness, chesed, and savlanut, and kavod, as you can see. Again, I'm sorry, like Lisa, to scroll so quickly. The next unit covers sort of personal midot, ones that sort of look a little more inward. So humility, organization, enthusiasm are some of the ones that are more personal. And we look at that. And then the final unit, the last 3 weeks, are more what we call transcendent midot, between you and God. This course was developed by Rabbi David Jaffe, who has developed an approach to Musar that's really quite remarkable, and has been working with adults and students. He taught at Gann Academy here in the Boston area for years, and runs workshops as well. He also last year won the Jewish National Book Award for his book Changing the World from the Inside Out, which is really about that talks about, in sort of almost memoir form, his journey in Musar. And then the main there is a text involved in this course, and it is called Everyday Holiness by The Path of Musar by Dr. Alan Marinis, that they sometimes have to do work on. So, and as you can see, each week is a series of different activities that need to be done during that week. And in this case, it's about 4 or 5 hours of work per week for students. Our courses vary; some are less, some are more than that. But that's what's expected in this course. I'm just going to show you in a few minutes just a couple specific to sort of take you down into the weeds, so you can sort of get a sense of what students are doing. So I'm showing now week 6. Which is the midah that is explored this week is savlanut, patience. And so each week starts with its overview that gives some frame about what's about to happen this week. Then there's essential questions related to the week. Why is patience important for living an ethical and meaningful life, that really relate to those higher level essential questions that showed you earlier. And then each week there is, students have this that they can print out. It's a table showing each activity that happens, how many points, and about how much time it might take to complete them. And as you can see after the overview, there is usually this format is a discussion where you sort of learn specifics about the history and what Jewish sages and text say about the specific midah, and then you practice it through a focus phrase and Kabbalah, and document it and do some other activities related to it. So I'm going to show you first a quick, that first discussion that comes this week, where and how this is just typical. There'll be some framing text and then some resources. As I said, you'll have to read the chapter on patience in everyday holiness, and then another piece that Rabbi Jaffe has created on Sablanut. And then we have a discussion prompt. You know, having read this, the chapter, and having read Rabbi Jaffe's essays, what are the types of situations or interactions that are hardest for you to maintain Sablanut? What are some of the strategies in the two readings that you think would work well? And then it's sort of prescriptive, respond to the questions. The post has to be at least 150 words. I'm going to show you a quick example. I'm not going to read it, but this is an example of an actual student response to this prompt. Students have to respond before they can see anyone else's responses. So your first initial response you do so that you can't sort of be influenced or tempted to plagiarize ideas or work. And then it is a conversation, so we make sure students are responding to each other, as Lisa showed you in that one. So that's a typical discussion. I want to show another interesting project that comes in this course, which is an interview project that comes over 3 weeks. During the middle of the course. It's called a Meaningful Life Interview Project. And as they're learning about midah, each midah, and learning about the qualities that make up an ethical life, in the middle, we sort of ask them, let's stop. Let's think about somebody who's in your life, who's a really good person, a person who represents the best of midot, who has high ethical moral code, in short, a real mensch. And then do an interview with that person. And just this gives you, so again, an example of the types of things we might do each week. So in this first one, the first week, they're going to identify the person, and they're going to build a set of questions together as a group that they might ask. The second week, they conduct the interview. And in that week, it's a great opportunity to, and I've gone on to that the next weeks, to really, they gather questions from the collective group, and then they prepare the interview space, and they conduct the interview. And we really give them some pretty detailed instructions. It's really teaching on best practice ways to do this. And finally, they transcribe the questions. And then in the final week of it, they share those interviews with one another, and they talk about, in a discussion area, what themes came up, what they liked about each other's interview. So it's got a lot of meat to it and a lot of depth, I think. And so I'm just showing you real quickly, this is just a transcript of a student's interview she did with her mother. It's a wonderful, just reading through just makes you smile. And there's so much teaching that the mother does. It allows the student to interact with the person in their life in a very powerful way. And I also included in the end some where we asked them to post some important things that they learned from the interview. And so she lists some of those things, such as, you know, when she wants to feel compassion when talking to others, she referred that they are people too. And even if you don't agree with them, they're still people that deserve compassion. The hardest thing about being a mensch is controlling your emotions, even with people you don't like. So there's a lot of wonderful learning happening there. The last thing, and I'll do this really quickly because I love this one, to give you a sense, when we talk about gratitude in week 13, as the Madad that's looked at, the practice, so when we're practicing patience, we have the students actually take times in their life for people they might not be patient with, a sibling, a friend, and really try to take a half-hour period where they're being conscious about patience and then documenting it, writing about it. For gratitude, we have them create over 3 days gratitude lists. And I'm just going to show you, and then compile it and submit it. And there's just, it's so sweet and such a wonderful opportunity for these students to think about what they're grateful for. It's actually a wonderful thing for anyone to do, to create gratitude lists. So this is some great things, and I'm not going to be able to get into it, but you can only imagine, just as Lisa showed you the response from Chaim to that student about their relationship to prayer, there's so many opportunities in this course for the student and the teacher through teacher feedback to not only teach, but to build a really powerful relationship, and they're really opening up to each other. It's a lot of teachers in the OGSC and in VHS are a little shocked by how close they get to the students, how much they feel connected to them, and that they've made meaningful connections. So I am going to stop there, and I guess I will send the stop sharing and we can go back to you, Lisa.
Okay, I can just put I'll just put John's. I thought if we have some time for questions. If you have any things you'd like to share about either of the courses, we would be happy to do our best to answer them. Can you see my screen?
No.
No. Okay, I'll make sure that you can.
Wait, what do you want?
Again,
I might
it's
have.
okay. No, it's okay. I think you can see it now. I think.
Not yet. You can go to share screen at the bottom.
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Okay.
But I maybe I have to be the host. I'm not sure. It's okay. We can certainly talk. If anybody in the session would like to ask a question or share something with us.
Basic question?
Yes.
Yes.
Who is
hi.
it? Just
Rabbi
introduce yourself,
Goretz
please.
from Harrisburg.
Oh, I saw Rabbi Goretz, and I wasn't sure which Rabbi Goretz, but hello, Rabbi Goretz. Very nice to see you.
You also, Lisa.
Harrisburg is my hometown, everyone, so I know Rabbi Goretz from, he came there after I grew up, but he teaches in the school that I graduated from.
Oh.
I was wondering, we're not a high school, we're elementary and middle school. Are any of your courses for middle school, let's say, or can be adapted?
Yes, they are. They are. I've been in touch with Rachel. I was in touch with Nahum before that, and I would love to talk more with you if it would be of interest. I think they would be an excellent resource. And some years you have 9th grade, and some years you don't, but certainly they're for 8th and 9th graders. And we have had 7th graders take our courses as well. So it's probably something that you and I should talk about offline.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just add that both of these courses I think could be used on that. Depending on the course, so Musar, it's not as if it's two different courses, but if we had a course of upper high school age students, we probably wouldn't want to have 7th and 8th graders with them and vice versa. But the content in it and the types of activities they do, I think, work very powerfully for both. And in fact, as I was looking at Lisa's some of the lessons from How to Make Meaning, it occurred to me how much I would like to, how helpful they'd be for me to do a lot of those practices. But anyway.
Good for
Hi,
all.
this is Seth. Can I ask a follow-up question about what you were just talking about?
Sure.
Sure.
try to pay attention to different age groups when you're putting the cohorts together, or is there going to maybe be seniors and freshmen in the same classes, and that's just whoever
We
there?
totally pay attention. There are some courses that we would restrict. You know, our advanced Talmud course is really for 11th and 12th graders. You know, if you told me that you had an Eloi in your 9th grade and he needed to be in that, we could probably discuss it. But it's not open to students who are not in those grades. And if we had a course that we felt could be taught to different age groups, we would have different sections for those age groups because the discussion would be different and should be.
Absolutely.
So we definitely do that.
Good. Is there any role for teachers at our schools to survey what's going on?
What do you mean, to view a course?
Well, no, like while my students are participating in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the site coordinator in the school, and in many cases an administrator as well, has an ability to go into the course and actually impersonate any student and sort of see how they're doing in terms of their work, has access to the students' grades so they can see how the student and the feedback from the teachers on the student work. And as I said, we send bi-weekly emails with information about the students' progress, and we encourage regular communication with us and are really available for that. But there's actually a training for the site coordinator, a very brief training. It's about 2 hours of asynchronous time on your own, which shows you how to monitor your students, either individually or as a group.
Sorry, I missed at the beginning that the site coordinator was our person. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. The site coordinator is so important. Yeah, it's such a key. You have the student teacher, but the person on the ground, we're in our staff, the teacher in good contact, opening up lines of communication is a huge piece of the success puzzle, sort of.
Anybody else have questions? I don't want to keep people too long. I'm going to just throw out a question for you to think about, and if you want to write to me about it in terms of, you know, what successes or what challenges you have had in your school in inspiring practice or inspiring observance in your students. I thought it might be a nice question, you know, for us to discuss here if anybody wants to say something, but really, you gave us a lot of time. Think about it. It might be an interesting conversation for us to continue. I really urge all of you to be in touch with us individually. My contact information is right there on the screen now. I hope you can see it. lmickley@thevhs.org. And my phone number is there as well. I will follow up with you in any way that works for your school and share with you. We have an expanded syllabus for each one of these courses, if that's something that would be helpful for you to look at to see what's covered each week. I would be happy to do a deeper demo of a course with you, or to talk about other ways that you could review the course and make sure it's appropriate for your students. That's really the way we like to work with schools. We like to, be as connected as possible, to hear as much as we can about the school and to work together with the school to find the right fit. Gali, did you want to say something?
Yep, I sure do. First of all, I'd just like to thank Lisa and John for that fantastic presentation. I oversee at Avichai, my role as program officer, and oversee online Judaic studies courses. And I have to tell you, I learned something new today, so I wanted to thank you. I mentioned to everyone on the call that on the webinar that Avichai is currently running a promotion for online Jewish studies. And any new school to join one of the organizations that we're funding in this area, which is the Online Judaic Studies Consortium, the Lookstein Virtual Jewish Academy, or YU College Now, we are going to provide $800 for your school, towards your school's participation in these courses. So to learn more, and that could be $800 towards each of these providers. So if you want to use both of them, you're going to get, $1,600 towards participation. But to take advantage of it, please either contact Lisa, or you can visit onlinejewishstudies.org, or you can please contact me. But we really hope that any of the schools on the webinar today that are not already taking online Judaic Studies courses will take advantage of this opportunity that may not last that much longer. We still have it available. So that's what I want to offer. And just to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to participate. And please be in touch with Lisa or myself with any follow-up questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Gali.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good seeing you, Lisa. Bye-bye.
Excellent. Bye-bye.
We are still being recorded, so if you can give us the control back, then we can stop the recording, I believe.
I think John.
John, if you can.
John, are you there?
I think John is off.
Thank you from Milana. Thank you so very much.
Thank
Our
you.
pleasure. We'll be in touch. We'll hope you'll be in touch with us too.
Now, if we just close.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, John is the meeting host. Lisa.
Can you end Can you end the meeting? I'm the
Lisa,
host.
You're the host. Can you try and press the record button?
I can do end meeting. Will that stop recording?
Try to give us back the host.
Oh, wait. Here, I can.